Hi everyone, I'm Patrick and welcome back on my channel. In this tutorial, we built a typing assistant that lets you fix typos with a large language model that's running locally on your machine. So this is going to be a free typing assistant. So here I can select, for example, multiple lines with multiple typos. And now I press a shortcut and watch what happens. It fixes all the typos in an instant. How cool is that? And now I can, for example, type super fast without caring about the text. Python is so cool. And I don't even have to select the line. I can press another shortcut. And now watch what happens. Python is so cool. So this is the application we're going to build. For this, we use Ollama. And you also learn about two different libraries that lets you control the keyboard. So let's get started. So before we get started, I want to mention this tweet that inspired this project. From this user, Boris, he said, how to 5x your typing speed and be in a flow state while you type. And then he uses a custom GPT for this. And Andrei Karpathy even retweeted this, saying, GPT is surprisingly good at correcting minor typos, so you can write really, really fast, ignore the mistakes, and it comes out just fine. So I thought we don't have to use ChatGPT for this. We can build our own free system with Ollama and about 100 lines of Python code. So let's do this. So let's start a new project. And here we start with a new virtual environment. So let's create a new virtual environment. And then we want to activate this. And now we want to install a few libraries. The first one is PyInput. This library allows you to control and monitor input devices. And we want to use this to listen to hotkeys. So basically, for example, whenever I press F9, it should fix the current line. So for this, we're gonna install this by saying pip install PyInput. And then we can go to handling the keyboard. So this is the official documentation. And if you scroll down, then here you find this code snippet about global hotkeys. So let's grab everything here. And then let's open our editor. And let's create a new file, main.py, and let's insert this. So here we import the keyboard, and then here we can register our global hotkeys and then activate a function or call a function whenever this is pressed. And then this is run endlessly in a new thread. So here we want to define our own hotkeys, and you can, for example, use combinations like Control, Alt, and H. I want to do F9 and F10. So for this, we can say from pyinput.keyboard import key, and then we can print key.f9.value and also key.f10 value. And then let's remove this for a second and save this. And now run this. And by the way, the first time you run this, you might get asked to give this app permission. So let's say Python main.py. And now we get the values for F9 and F10. So let's insert this again. And here we want to say, this is 101 and this is 109. So only on F9 and on F10. And then we can call this, for example, on F9 and on F10 and change the name here on F9 and then on F10. And now let's also change the print text. First, we only print this on F9 pressed, on F10 pressed. And now let's save this and let's open our terminal again and run python main.py. And now you will notice this will not return back here in your terminal. So now this will run endlessly until you hit Control-C. And now if I hit F9, then it prints F10. So it also prints something else because I have the terminal selected. But for example, if I select this window here, I can still press F10 and F9 and it will work. So this is the first step. So now we have our hotkey listener. Now let's define two functions. The first one we call fix current line. And the second one we call fix the selection. and then we call this. So on F9, we want to fix the current line. And on F10, we want to fix the selection. So let's start with the fix selection. So how do we do this? We do this in 5 steps. So step 1 is we copy everything to the clipboard. So copy to clipboard. Then step 2 is get the text from the clipboard. Then step 3 is we fix the text somehow with our large language model. And the 4th step is we copy back to the clipboard. And then we have the last step. So now we simply have to insert the text again. So basically this is Control C and this is Control V. So to copy the text to the clipboard, we can also use the library, the PyInput library, and we need this snippet. So let's copy and paste this from PyInput keyboard, import key and controller. Then we set up a controller. I actually want to call this controller. And then we can, for example, do this with keyboard pressed and then the first key and then the second key. So let's copy this one here. So with keyboard, and I call this controller. So with controller pressed, and then here I need command. I'm not sure if there is a control. Maybe on Windows you need control. I'm on a Mac, so I need command. And then we want to press C, so we could do controller press A, controller press release A. So here we have press C. But there's also a utility function. We can just say controller tab C. So now we have everything in the clipboard. Now we need to get the text from the clipboard. And for this, we need another short, small library that is called Paperclip. So this is super simple. So let's also install this. So let's stop the script and say pip install Paperclip. And then here you see all the code that you need. So we import Paperclip. And then we can say Paperclip paste. And this will give us the text. So here we say text equals Paperclip paste. And then we can also already copy the second one when we want to copy this back. So later we want to copy this back. So let's comment this out for now. And then one thing, so while testing, I noticed that I also need a very short delay here. So we import time, and then here we say time.sleep for 0.1 seconds. Otherwise, yeah, I got some issues with these combinations. So maybe you don't even need this, but let's do this here. So now we have this in memory. So let's actually try this out. So let's again run the file. And now let's go back and let's select this line. And now if I hit F10, actually nothing happens, sorry, so we didn't do anything. So here, let's print the text first. So let's again save this and let's run this. And now let's select this. And now let's hit F10. And if we go back, we see Python is so cool. So it had exactly the selection. So now this is working. So now let's continue here. So we want to fix the text. So let's define another function, define fix text, which gets the text as an input. And to test this, first, let's return the reversed text like this. So here we can say fixed text equals fix text. So here we call this function with the text as an input. Then we want to copy this back to the clipboard. So for this, we already have this. So now we say paperclip copy, and then we copy the fixed text. Then here again, I want to say time.sleep 0.1 seconds. And now we want to copy this back. So here we say with controller. So basically here we want to say Control V like this. And let's save this. And we don't even need to print this anymore. So let's again run our script. And then again, select this. And now hit F10 again. And I think we get an error. Yeah, okay. So what do we do? Fix, here is the typo, fixed text. So let's run it again. Sorry about that. And now let's select this and say F10. And you see it reversed the string and inserted it here. So let's stop this. And now this is working. So now the only functionality we need is to fix the text and also to select the current line. So let's implement the fix current line one. So here basically we have to select the current line, and on Mac there is a shortcut Command Shift and the left arrow key. So for example, if I go into any application and press Command Shift and left, then it selects the current line. So this is exactly what we need. And we can easily do this combination. So by saying controller and then press key dot command. So again, maybe on Windows you need control here. And then let's copy and paste this command and then shift and then left. And then of course we also want to release everything again. So let's copy and paste this. And then instead of press, we say release and then release all the three keys again. So now we have the current line selected. And when we have our selection, we can simply call fix selection. So now we have two functionalities. We can fix the current line and we can fix the current selection. So now only thing left to do is to fix the text. And to fix the text, we're going to use a large language model, and that's running locally on our machine. And one of the best frameworks for this is Ollama. So I'm not going into detail here. You find plenty of other very good tutorials on YouTube, but Ollama is cross-platform and it lets you run a lot of different large language models with only one command. So just download this and install this, and then you find different models. And I want to use the Mistral 7B one. Feel free to use a different one as well. And then you also find different tags. And I recommend going with the instruct one, which is fine-tuned to follow instructions. And you can even choose a quantized version, which comes with a trade-off that it's not as accurate, but faster. And for this task, the quantized version should work well enough. So I want to choose this one, the instruct version 0.2 Q4KS. So copy this in your terminal. And the first time it will download the models. I already have it, so I can now give it a request. Why is the sky blue, or a question here, and then it will stream the response back. So now we have Ollama running on our machine. And what's really cool is that they have a REST API out of the box. So we can send a post request. Let me quickly copy this for a moment and modify this. And we want to use this model name that we just downloaded. So the model is this, the prompt is this, and then we can also say we don't want to stream the response. We want to get it in one action, and then copy this and see if it works. And it's working. So here we get the response with the response key. The color of the sky appears blue. So now we have Ollama running on our machine. So now we need to basically just send the post request with Python. So for this, let's install a library to send requests. So you can either say pip install requests, or here I want to use HTTPX. And by the way, I have a tutorial about this on my channel as well, so feel free to check this out. And now let's define this globally. So the Ollama endpoint equals, and now this is the endpoint where the model will generate the response. And then let's call the rest Ollama config, and this is gonna be a dictionary with the model name, and it's this one. Then we don't want the prompt here, but we also want to say stream equals false. And I want to show you one more thing. So you can also say keep alive, and this will keep the model alive in memory, so it doesn't have to reload it every time. And the default is 5 minutes, so I want to leave this just to show you that this is available as well. And now we have the Ollama config. So now let me indent this correctly. And now here we basically just want to send the request. So we define our prompt equals, and then let's leave a empty one for now. And then we say response equals HTTPX. So of course we have to import this, import HTTPX. And then we send a post request to the Ollama endpoint. And then as JSON data, we say we create a new one where we also include the prompt. And the prompt is the prompt that we need to set up. And then for the rest of the values, we unpack the Ollama config. So now it puts all of those fields into this one here. And then we also give it a header. So we say headers equals, and this is again a dictionary where we say content type, and the type is application/JSON. And we can also say timeout equals 10 seconds, for example. And then this is all we need. So now we have the response. So now let's do some error checking. If response.status code not equals 200, we wanna, here you can print an error. I wanna simply return none maybe. And otherwise we wanna return the response. And then we can convert this to JSON, and then we will find this in the response field. If we have a look, you can find the response field here. And then let's also call strip to remove white space in the beginning and in the end. So now we only need the prompt. So let's define a prompt template up here. And for this, we're going to use the built-in template class. So from string, we import template. This allows us to define a template where we can later insert the text. So let's define a multi-line string. And now let's say fix all typos and the casing and also the punctuation in this text, but preserve all new line characters, and then a colon. And then as a placeholder, we have to use the $sign and give it a name. So I call it text. And then let's also give the model some instructions for the output format. So let's say return only the corrected text. Don't include a preamble. And this is the prompt we want to use. Again, feel free to tweak this a little bit and play around with this. And then here, down here, we say prompt template substitute, and then we have to use the same name that we use here as placeholder, text equals text. And now this is all we need. So here we get our prompt, then we call Ollama and return this, and this is the fixed text. So let's run our script again and go to our notepad and, for example, go to this line and say F9 and see if it works. And it works. So it corrected this one. So let me see if I find the old text. So let me also try F10. And it fixes the selection. Awesome. So now you have your own typing assistant running locally on your machine with Ollama. Let me know in the comments if you try out other models that also work well. And yeah, I hope you have fun with it. And then I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.